out there. We got my brother here, Mike. You know, I don't want to give you too much of the interview out so quick. You know, met this young man, maybe at least about 89. Came on the corner about 91, scraped for $1 million with that guy Fendi. You know, and he's a big 13. I'm 17, or maybe going into 18 in the summer 91. But he was a tall ass fucking a tall 13. He was already 6'2". It's like, dude, I don't think that you grew. I think that you grew at 13 and already had the height. That was it. Like the motherfucker was already tall. Thought the nigga was 18 years old. Scary guy. But he loves his friends. If you are his friend. You ready? And 5.
Let's check your microphones.
1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2.
1 2 1 2.
You know, I'm gonna talk about my son winning that trophy.
That's what I live for.
With the elite learners.
That's what I live for.
And the park was crowded.
Nickname the block party.
And name my son block party. And Mike like, yo, this kid. This kid is blocking everything. And I didn't even tell you that was my son until you passed the award to him. I was like, Mike, that's my son. That's my child.
Dope.
That's the dope part about it.
Super dope. Super dope. Great experience for me.
Oh, man.
Okay. You ready, bro? I'm moving your mics. Hand claps is when you win. Hand claps is your opener. Audio started. Morning sign is up. S.STREET Media join us up.
Hello, people. We are back. We are back by popular demand. This is the Black Raspberry Radio Show distributed by S.STREET Media, and I have a special guest. I mean, very special to me. A childhood friend that I grew up with from Brownsville. His name is Mike.
Yo. Marcus Garvey General, Mike. What's up?
How has Brownsville made you all the man that you are?
Brownsville made me the man I am today due to circumstances. I grew up in an environment where it was kill or be killed. taught to survive at a very young age.
Mm-hmm.
Came from a dog-eat-dog world.
Right. Dog eats dog. I had asked you this question jokingly. I'm gonna jump straight into it. I'm gonna dive into it like we always do. What is the difference between Mike being Suge Knight's friend in 91 and Mike being Suge Knight's friend in 2023?
It's a great difference. In 1991, I enjoyed the sight of blood. Today, I run from the sight of blood because I realize it's the blood of our own.
Mm-hmm.
So understanding that dynamic, you got to know when enough is enough.
Right.
And you got to know in order for the children to change, they got to see somebody like them.
Right.
That been through their struggle, that been through their storm. Because
Mm-hmm.
without them seeing a person that been through their storm, they're not going to respect it. They're not going to respect the white man in a suit.
Right.
They're not going to respect the black man in the suit. They're going to respect somebody that looks just like them, that wears a pair of Jordans, that wears a sweatsuit, that plays in the park with them, that stood on the corner.
Right.
So when you understand these dynamics, you understand that without you, there's no change. And change comes first within you. And you understand the importance of your change. And the importance of your change is knowing that you can change lives. You can change the narrative.
Right.
So I want to be that one person
Right.
that can change the narrative for many generations to come.
Mm-hmm. Tell the people about the Elite Learners organization that you're a part of.
All right, Elite Learners is a nonprofit organization. We have a bunch of wraparound services. We deal with the violence in the neighborhood. We're an anti-violence group. What we do is try to stop the violence before it happens. If it does happen, we try to prevent it, the retaliation of the violence. So I'm a mentor. I'm an outreach worker supervisor. What I do is I try to change the narrative from kids from 5 to 24, and sometimes it's older men. Because if you could reach the older men as well, they could teach their children different ways to live, a better way to live.
Right. Brownsville, what do you say about it now? What do you say about Brownsville, the then and the now?
Brownsville is evolving. For one, the men that once destroyed it is back to rebuild it.
Right.
It's not an easy job.
Right.
Because some days is harder than harder than others. So I say that to say, like, it's about, I won't use the word hope. I use the word determination.
Right.
Because hope is just you wishing on something.
Right.
Determination means you acting upon it.
Right.
Determination is an action word. When I say that's an action word, you get up every morning and you know you're determined to change something.
Right. Because
you can't change nothing if you're laying down and you're hoping on it.
Right.
Yeah, it has to be an action involved.
Mm-hmm. What do you say about, it's not, I don't want to kind of like repeat the question. How was it growing up in the crack era?
Growing up in the crack era was a twofold for me, because I watched my mother get a lot of money, and I watched her fall victim to it. But I enjoyed the watching her get money part, because it installed in me the hustler.
Right.
Right. So growing up around it, it was a gift and a curse, because you could get rich,
right,
but it was hurting your people.
Right.
So when you understand them dynamics, right, it goes back to loving to see blood.
Right.
You love to see money, but what do you love to see that money based upon? Blood money. And I don't want no more blood money.
Right. Right. Where do you see yourself in 10 years? 10 years from now, I don't want to jump around, but I'm going to jump around. 10 years from now, where do you see yourself?
10 years from now, I see myself first wealthy.
Right.
And I'm not talking about money.
Right.
I'm talking about socially wealthy.
Right.
Where I could reach a child in Japan, reach a child in Africa, reach a child in Panama, reach a child in just say Wisconsin somewhere. Right. Just being able to, when they see my face, right, they see somebody that they could relate to and somebody that could change the dynamics of their life.
Right. Wow, that's deep, Mike. Let me jump out of that. Social politics now. Donald Trump.
Listen, man, when it comes to Donald Trump, man, it's like he a gift from the curse.
Right.
I think it's time that somebody's, and it's sad for me to say it, but it's the truth. Like, the black people been prosecuted for so long,
Right.
and we don't get away with nothing.
Right.
So it's a time to see somebody that been getting away with something for so long,
Mm-hmm.
stand trial.
You know what's crazy? Because I have this little this fondness of 45, and it's always going back to the Mike Tyson thing. Mike Tyson having his big fights at the Trump Convention Center, but I'm like, why did the government? It's like, damn, if you couldn't get him on that insurrection thing when the people was trying to take the Capitol, it's like, all right, some sex, you know, some dirty business going on. Y'all was really tight that y'all couldn't get his taxes, but going back to that crack era, like y'all could have brought Ronald Reagan. Y'all could have brought Papa Bush to the court on the destruction. You know, when I'm looking at Snowfall, it's like, damn, Snowfall is sure enough a history book. You know,
if you look at Operation Contra,
mm-hmm.
what it's based on, drugs.
Mm-hmm.
They rushed into these countries, took the drugs, and brought the drugs back to America
Mm-hmm.
because they could benefit from it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So now what happens once they bring these drugs back to America? We're going to drop it in these neighborhoods.
Mm-hmm.
The neighborhoods that's starving.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to create wealth for them.
Yes.
But somebody's going to get hurt, and then we're going to destroy generations in the process of it.
Mm-hmm. And that's crazy, Mike, how poor, and I'm going to go to Brownsville, how poor Brownsville was at that time with us growing up. And it was wealth. People had time slots. I'm going to work from 12 to 12, selling crack. And it generated the wealth.
It was reality. That was the reality.
Mm-hmm.
I remember at 13 years old,
mm-hmm.
making $5,000 a week.
Mm-hmm.
On what corner?
Hersman Blake.
You understand what I'm saying? I remember them days. You understand what I'm saying? Am I proud of them days? No.
Right.
But I remember them.
Right.
At that time, I was proud of it because I was a 13-year-old kid with big jewelry, with whatever I want. I could walk on Picket and buy whatever I want to buy.
I thought he was 18 years old.
So, like, a lot of times, you know, but I wouldn't change that for the world, right? Because when you mix all them ingredients up, that's when you get today. Right. And I hustle today on the legal mentality. And I hustle hard. I work hard so that people know that you could change that narrative a different way. Right.
Mike, you watch sports?
Yes.
What do you think of the New York Knicks?
Bums.
His uncle used to shut us down in the park with that. He used to always call us bums. But I want to jump on this right quick. You know, I'm jumping around. Mike and his organization had a basketball tournament in the park, and I'm gonna brag about this right quick. And someone's child was the MVP. One of the gentlemen that was taking the stats was like, "Listen, we have never seen nobody have like 35 block shots in 3 games. 3 games on their way to the tournament, you know, to the championship." And I remember Mike passing this kid this trophy, and I had to come out and say, "Yo, Mike, that's my son."
That moment, I ain't gonna lie to you, that was a gift for me.
Yeah.
It was a gift for me for 2 folds, right? He was anonymous.
Yeah.
Right? And the second, so many things happened in that park for me. I remember shedding tears on the phone with you.
That's right. I didn't even want to bring that up.
Driving, understanding the significance of giving back to this park,
right,
where many things occurred, harm occurred by me.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And understanding the significance that I'm giving these kids life
right
at this moment.
Right.
And they say men ain't supposed to cry, but the true story is men are supposed to cry in glory.
Right.
Because that was a moment of glory for me.
Yes. Yes. That was put together very well, Mike. That men are supposed to cry in glory. But since we're talking about cry, are men supposed to cry with emotion?
Of course. Of course. What is a tear without emotion? It doesn't exist.
Mm. Yeah. How was free lunch back in the day?
Delicious.
Okay.
Like a lot of people laugh and say something about free lunch. But if you know the history of free lunch, right? If you know how the Panthers
Speak, black man, speak.
fought for us to get free lunch,
That's right.
you would enjoy every moment of that lunch.
That's right.
Because that lunch came with people not having money to buy food.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But people don't understand the significance of free lunch.
Right.
They don't understand that people fought
Right.
for you to have food on your table.
Right.
And it's a gift.
Mm-hmm.
If they dig deep into the things that they got for free,
Right.
they will understand that it never was for free.
Mm-hmm.
It was on people's souls, backs, lives,
Mm-hmm.
that they were able to put that good pizza,
Right.
that good old fashioned donut that was heated up.
I'm jumping again. What do you think of the music now compared to the music then?
The music now and the music then, we had good music back then.
Who's your top five rappers?
Right now?
No.
Oh,
We could go with
Rakim,
Okay, go ahead.
because he never cursed.
Right.
Biggie,
Right.
Nas, Jay-Z,
Right.
and Beanie Siegel.
Okay.
All of them told a story,
Right.
right? And they told different stories.
Mm-hmm.
One told a story about drugs
Right.
and being able to survive the game without going to prison.
Right.
One told a story of being a goon and didn't die, still here, right? Rob told a story about knowledge to self,
Mm-hmm.
still here, right? Nas told a story about knowledge to self and painting a picture of what was going on in his neighborhood,
Right.
bringing you news,
Right.
right? So when you put all these guys together, right? For me, this is why they my top five, because they saw life through 5 different lenses that equated to my life.
Right.
Because we had knowledge of self in Brownsville.
Mm-hmm.
We was goons in Brownsville. We painted pictures. We have stories to tell. We sold drugs. And Biggie.
What is your feelings? I'm jumping again. We jumping. What are your feelings like when you do see people from your era and you see them now? Like, what's your feeling when you see them?
It depends, right? Because a lot of people fell by the wayside. So sometimes when I see them, I tell them, yo, you could be better than that.
Right.
Whether they're looking sick or they're not focused.
Right.
Because I say to them, if I could change, you can.
Right.
You remember who I used to be?
Mm-hmm.
And they be looking like sometimes dude be like thinking it's just a facade.
Mm-hmm.
But when they see me live it every day,
Right.
24/7, it's like, oh nah, this kid really
Mm-hmm.
evolved.
And I'm gonna tell you, you grew up with some lions, tigers, gorillas, and a lot of people in that circle in here.
100%.
And we just lost one of our brothers, you know. And it's crazy. I don't want to be sobbing or anything like that. Right before this person left, we was all on the same corner, and I said, like, yo, y'all the last bit of family that I have here.
100%.
And I said, let me get on train because I don't want to start crying. And a couple of days later, something tragic happened.
And you know, sometimes, right? And I say this with a burden, right? Because I could have pushed a little bit more, right? Because you know I had him with me every day, trying to change the narrative for him. You understand what I'm saying? Trying to slow him down from drinking, sipping.
Yeah.
We was partying. I would say, yo, bro, now you gonna come with me. Because I kind of felt the bad energy that he was placing himself in.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew where my energy was at. That's why he called me. I saw him every morning.
Mm-hmm.
I saw him on my lunch breaks. I saw him at night. That night, he was supposed to come to me,
Mm-hmm.
but he didn't. And I'm mad at myself, right? For one reason, I should have pushed a little bit more and made him come,
Right.
like I usually do.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's for a couple of minutes, whatever, it could have changed the narrative.
You know, Act Right got Sake's book he was writing. And I said that if it's one thing I would like to interject in that story of Reginald Thorny is there was a period of time that I didn't see Sake from 86 to 89. And this is when Sake goes into Brooklyn Tech. And I ain't see Sake until 89. And I'm on my porch. My mother sends me outside, screaming at me, go your ass out there, nigga, and sweep. And I got my radio playing, and for some reason, I always loved this West Coast gangster rap. And I'm playing Easy Does It by Eazy-E, and I look on the corner, and I seen Sake get out that car. Reginald T, as I would call him in public school, he was like, I don't go by that right now. My name is Seiko. And it's like, damn. You know, as they say, when you look in hindsight 2020, like Brownsville fucked his life up, I think. That my friend was an engineer. My friend was a mathematician. My friend was a smart guy.
Super smart.
So,
If you would sit there and listen to him, even with the stuttering,
yeah.
dope.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? Some people don't even know the significance of him.
Mm-hmm.
He was a people's person.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes being a people's person, you could give your life by being a people's person.
Yeah.
So his sacrifice never will go in vain.
Right.
Because everybody loved him.
Yeah.
And we still speaking his name. We speaking his name to today.
Mm-hmm.
So he a gift to us.
Yeah.
He a gift to us, man.
Seiko moment. I remember this one moment. Seiko will always throw these parties in his hallway, which the party's supposed to be in his house. And in a Brownsville moment, his couch is outside in the hallway. And in a Brownsville moment, the cops is coming up the steps. I'm laughing, joking. My fat ass is still in the chair. And the cop said, you sit down. Because if we find anything in that couch, it belongs to you. And Sake just came home. I guess that supervisor thing, supervisor release, and he said, listen, anything that's in that couch, motherfucker, it belongs to me. And the cop looked at him. He said, and I'm on parole. So anything you fucking find, I just look at that nigga Sake like, God damn. Well, there wasn't nothing in that couch, but in the Brownsville moment, it had a nuclear fucking arm placed in that couch.
That's a fact.
A nuclear arm, like, wait a minute, what happened to the juice?
Things start dropping. Right at the moment, things drop on the floor that you don't never do in somebody's pocket.
Yes. What is the difference, Mike, between drug use of then and drug use of now?
Wow.
That like in our era, you know, freebase, crack, and I'm gonna go back to that crack when the first time I seen crack cook. To these kids pill popping.
I think they more addictive than the people back then.
Okay.
Because they don't just pill pop. They do any drug that's in front of them.
Right.
And it's sad, right? Because a lot of them experiment.
Right.
And they experimenting on stuff that they don't even know what's inside of something.
Right.
Like you like growing up when somebody was freebasing or doing what's that, you knew what they had in front of them.
Mm-hmm.
In a pill, you don't know what that pill consists of.
Right.
Fentanyl.
Right.
All different types of hallucinogens that may not bring you back. Because you have people that's not chemists making these drugs.
Yes.
So when you have somebody that's making a drug that don't even know the effect of it,
right,
it's life damaging. Because if you look, even when you get down to the weed, these new forms of weed, if you listen to the new forms of weed, people smoking it, right? If they don't have that blunt, they damn near busting somebody in the head in the morning for that blunt. Because it's mixed with something. It ain't the back in the days Ari, the back in the days time. you now is baby gumbo, whatever. You understand what I'm saying? These things are altering people's brains to a point where it ain't no return.
Right.
They fighting their mothers for an eighth of a weed. They fighting their fathers. You understand what I'm saying? They getting their food stamps going about. It's crazy.
Yeah.
When you choose, what's the difference from a crackhead choosing to cash their food stamps and a woman going to buy an eighth? What's the difference?
Yeah.
With their food stamps, tell me the difference.
Us black folks gotta work it out. It's crazy how in our time they say it's an epidemic. How white America, and I don't want to play the race card. I don't like playing it like that, but sometimes I do. I love my O.J. Simpson race cards. How now it's an epidemic because of the fentanyl, animal tranquilizer. I go on YouTube and sometimes I see the people in Philadelphia, this street, I can't think, Kingsland Street, showing people just knotted up, and it's like, oh, we have a problem, but in the 80s, let's just lock motherfuckers up, throw away the key.
Exactly.
We're gonna finance our war in Central America because we don't want the communists to get there, but we also could get free labor with incarceration, mass incarceration of the Negroes and Latinos.
Because when you look at when you go to the Constitution, right, what the 13th Amendment is. Only time the slave is enactment is when you locked up.
Right.
So you gotta understand the dynamics. You gotta understand the dynamics of $1 million blocks. Right. When it comes to $1 million blocks, the $1 million blocks is us. Knowing that there's a bunch of black people on these blocks, once we lock them up, that block is worth $1 million.
Okay.
It's so much history in between these things, man, and just think about the criminalization of fighting them.
Right.
For the youth. It's so many dynamics that's dangerous for our children, man. It's like you have to catch them and understand, like, a fight could change the course of them getting to college. Right. The right college. Now everything is, oh, this kid had a fight. What's going on home? What's going on? It's a natural fight. Right. It's a natural right to or a young girl. Right. You locking them up for a natural rites of passage. This is the dynamics now. But what it is explosion. Right. Disenfranchisement. Because sometimes you can't get in a certain bank. Right. Because of where your address is at. Oh, they're like, hold on, where you at? Oh, nah, we don't. No, the credit. Right.
That credit is something else.
It's vicious.
It's vicious.
It's vicious. And the thing is, this is one of the things that we have to teach. Right. Financial literacy.
And that is very important, right?
It's super important.
The economics of capitalism.
It's super important, man. Just you can't give a crash course, right? But you can teach these children little by little. Right. Right? Because they're not going to want to listen to certain things. You understand what I'm saying?
And certain people.
So you give it to them, you spoon feed them, and you show them. You got a bank account, show them. It's going to become a habit. Right. Even if you do it once out of the week, you teach them financial a week. What happen is it's going to become a thirst. Right. Especially if they once you plant a seed and you see it grow, you're going to want to keep watering that seed.
True, indeed.
I feel it's our job to water these seeds, man.
Is your organization, pushing like for things like that?
Of course. We have a bunch of wraparound services. We have re-entry programs. We have financial literacy. We have, some of these kids into gaming. Right. We teach them gaming. Yes. To make money though. Yes. We teach them gaming to make money. All right, you want to be on this game? You want to spend 4 hours on this game? Let me show you how to spend 4 hours on this game making money. You braiding your friend hair? Let me show you how to braid your friend hair funny. Use your friend as your tool.
And we're from the days of Atari, where we couldn't get any money for playing that game.
You understand what I'm saying? So it's like everything could be a hustle. Right. As long as you show them how to hustle. You want to play with this basketball?
Right.
Let me show you how you play with this basketball. If you don't become see, this is the thing about when you teaching kids, right?
Speak, brother.
Basketball has so many components, right? You don't have to be a basketball player. If you don't make it playing a basketball player, be a basketball coach. If you don't make it being a basketball player, be a trainer. Start a basketball camp. You got so many components, but everybody just reaching for that one thing where it's a small window for it.
Right.
But if that window closed, you open the next window. Just like if, for instance, if it's clothing, right? You might have a clothing. I might can't design, but I could go market it.
Right.
You show them all the different components from this one aspect. You can show them many different components. Once you start to be able to show them many different components, they might not want to be a designer. They might not want to be this. But my neighborhood is my money. I go back to my neighborhood to save lives and make my money. I'm on the block now, but I'm on the block for a reason.